Welcome to another live stream. I am Keith. We are in the studio. It's getting a little warm in here, but it's cooled off immensely. Let's just dive right in tonight. Hi, Hank. It's good to have you here. You were here really early and then monitoring evidently until it was time to rock and roll, but it's good to have you here from Bluffton, South Carolina. Doug is in the house as well. We don't have a lot of people in the chat yet, so it is what it is. I'm perfectly fine with that. It's good to have Tony here as well. I'm going to hit record, and we are recording behind me. So how are you guys doing? I have a little survey going on tonight. You can see it in the chat. If you haven't answered the question yet, please do. It says, have you installed the Blackmagic Camera application yet? Now, it is available for Android. It is available for iOS. And now it's available for the iPad, not yet for the pads that are Android. But if you have an Android phone, if you have an iPhone, you can use the app. Now, you will have to have the A12 chip or better in your iPhone. So if you have an older iPhone or older iPad, it will not run. In fact, tonight I'm going to be demoing. Good to have you here, Joe. I'm going to be demoing my daughter's iPad, which is right there on the table. So we're going to be looking at these new features. And so when we get done saying hello to everybody, we will dive into this new update. So if you have not answered the survey, again, there is a question in the chat. Please answer the survey. Have you downloaded the Blackmagic Design Camera app for your Android device or for your iPhone? And now you can download it on a i12 chip or newer iPad. So good to have you here, Jay. Sorry again, I missed if you were live streaming last night, but go over and check out TVJ's live stream. Tony had a new video up as well, I noticed last week. Go over and check Doug's channel out. Check, that's Doug Force channel. Go over there and check out Tony's Quick Tech Solutions channel. And then obviously TVJ's channel as well. Ernesto, it is good to have you here. Hi, back to you. Good to have you here. So in reality, this whole journey for me has been pretty surreal, especially this last year. Obviously, every year we kind of look for what Blackmagic Design may announce. And they did have quite a few announcements this year. Nothing really in reality from that announcement made it into my studio. I would like to test out eventually the new media player 10G. But again, you have to add some other devices and speed up your network if you're really going to use that 10G device. But there are some really cool features in that media player 10G. So we will talk more about that in a video in the future, because I do think that's probably the most interesting device for me that Blackmagic Design announced last year. But I would say the one thing that did make it into my world, and I have been paying attention to, and I have been using that app, and that is the new Blackmagic Design or Blackmagic Camera app. It's called the Blackmagic Camera. So you can turn your Android phone or your iPhone into a pretty high-tech camera. Obviously, it's going to be down to the sensor inside your smartphone. It's going to be down to the quality of the glass, all of that. So phones are becoming pretty incredible. In fact, I have been known to make this quote to clients as I go out that this phone right here with Blackmagic Design, Blackmagic Camera app on it, and with this one this is the iPhone 14 with the three different lenses. So I have three different lenses. And again, this is iPad Pro, I think 8th or 9th generation of my daughter's right there. And that has the A12 chip. My phone has the A12 chip. So both of those can receive the Blackmagic Design Camera app. But my iPad I'm using in my studio is the 6th generation. It is an A10 chip, and you cannot download the Blackmagic Camera app on it. So that's a disadvantage. I use it for mix effects primarily in my studio. I'll do some reading on it. I'll take it to meetings. I use the notepad. I'll watch videos on it. So it's a great tool. Goes on the road with me when I travel. That will be in my bag when I go on my cruise in November. So again, let's just finish saying hi here. Tim, it's good to have you in the house. Tim Morrow, good morning, Keith. Hi, everyone from down under Melbourne, Australia. Fine winter's day. Yeah. So what is a winter's day temperature down there, Tim? Let us know in the chat. That would be great. Let's see. This is a great comment. This is Tony over there to Ernesto, chat in the house, going back between you guys. Obviously, you can either listen to me or watch the screen or chat with each other. That's one of the cool advantages of being live. And again, I want to welcome you so much for being in here tonight. But there is a hurricane in the Caribbean named Ernesto. Fortunately, this one is not heading towards the Carolinas this time around. Now, I know there's some hurricanes in your area, Tony, and some of the other guys in the chat tonight. I'd like to know if those missed you, if everything's okay in your neck of the woods. So if you guys are A-okay or semi-okay, please let us know in the chat. I have been thinking about everybody on the East Coast. I used to live in Pennsylvania, so I'm very familiar with East Coast weather, but further north than a lot of you guys that are down there in the South. Good to have you tonight, Chio. Sorry you're late, but better here than not. So thank you so much for joining us tonight. I do have a survey up in the chat. And so the question is, have you installed the Blackmagic Camera application yet? And I use the word yet because hopefully by tonight, if you haven't, and 40% have already said no, I would highly recommend if you have an Android phone or if you have an iPhone, the A12 chip or newer in your iPad or your iPhone. Android device, I don't know what the minimum is. We'll look at the specs tonight a little bit later. We'll look at what is in this version 2 update, which is what we're going to talk about tonight. There are a couple features you can do. You can take your video clips and delete them faster now because you can just select all. That was an update in version 2. We're not going to focus on that tonight. This is not a look at the version 2 update. We're not going to talk about other features or bug fixes, but I am going to highlight the last 2 updates for you tonight and what was released in those 2 updates. And then I'm going to also focus tonight on this new update that allows you to load it on a A12 chip iPad or newer. I'm not sure if it'll work with the M2 chip or the M1 chip. I haven't done any research, but we'll look at the specs. But anyway, great to have you guys all with me tonight. Tim is one of the very few people that does not have a mobile phone, not missing the use of it. Yeah, I could totally understand. Mine's dinging, alerting me all the time. You can see him over the shoulder. That phone's not bugging me right now because I have it opened with the Blackmagic Design Camera app. And I actually have them tethered together right now. So we're going to talk about remote control and what exactly you can do with it, how to set it up. So if you want to follow along with that tonight, you would have to have an iPad or something to download that camera, Blackmagic Camera App 2, and then a smart device, either an Android or an iPhone. You can't use the remote control yet for Android. Maybe that update's coming pretty soon, but right now we'll just be talking about iPads and iPhones. And as Tim said, he does not have a phone, which is cool. More time for reading, more time for hanging out with the family. I could think of 100 things to do when I'm not on my phone. So it does take a lot of time, and it is a distraction. Okay, I'm just looking through the chat here. Chio says, I installed it on the phone that I could for Android. Cool. Yeah, so Android is now available. So the Blackmagic Camera app does take over the features of your Android phone. And there are some really incredible features. We're not going to be covering all of the features tonight that are available in the Blackmagic Camera application. But I do want to talk just a little bit about technology, how it's influencing us. And then we're going to look at why it would be important to be able to remote control your iPhone, and actually you can remote control more than one phone. So we'll talk about that here as we get into tonight's subject. By quarter after, we'll see how time goes here. Current temperature, Tim says, is 15 degrees centigrade. And if you're wondering what the translation is, he put that down there, 21 centigrade. Yeah, I don't know what the translation is in degrees here in the United States. So I'm thinking that's probably 65 to 75. I'm guessing. I could be completely wrong. Tony says, we had some serious flooding issues as a result of last week's hurricane. T.S. Debbie, titled Debbie, had to cancel Wednesday's show as a result. Aside from that, all is good. Well, that's good news. Sorry you had to cancel your show, but and that was your podcast that Tony hosts a podcast. Tony, go ahead and put the name and link in the chat tonight, or at least the name in the chat. If you're into sports and you're excited about football coming back to the United States, if you're in the United States, football might be interpreted a little bit different down under. But if you are interested in knowing more about sports talk, Tony hosts a show on Sports Talk, and we hope that gets up and running post-hurricane season very, very, very soon. So, again, I want to thank you guys for being a part of the live streams on Tuesdays. I love to have the opportunity to talk tech. I get a chance to do some consulting here in the studio. I'm not going to do any promoting of that tonight, but I do offer a free 1-hour consult. So if you ever get stuck and you have not used that free 1 hour and you're listening either in the live stream while we're live or later once it's been recorded and posted on the channel, if you get stuck and you want to take advantage of that hour, I do consulting all the time, and I would be happy to help you out with an hour of Zoom time. And I am set up to show different things in my studio, answer questions, and I have even made some lower thirds logos for people in that 1 hour consult. Lots of things I've been able to do in those 1 hours. And then if you want to know more about consulting, you can always ask when we're together. And the way you access that is on my website. I will make sure that there is a link in the description below, which I believe is already there. You can just click on that form, fill it out, and say free Zoom consult, and then I'll reach out to you because you put your email in that contact page. So yeah, 59 to 70 degrees is Chio's interpreting what 15 degrees centigrade to 21 degrees centigrade translates into. So we'll accept that math, Chio. The show is called Swartz Talking Sports. Next show tomorrow evening at 8 p.m. Had some good guests on there. It's great sports talk. I have one of my clients does a podcast, and I'll see when I meet with him the next couple of weeks if he'll let me share that here on the live stream. But I was getting a chance to watch his podcast. He's been off the air for a long time, and he's back on the air now. And it was fun to sit here in the studio and then watch his podcast. And then he recommended 2 or 3 other podcasts. And so I checked those out. Didn't listen to all of them. It seems like the average podcast that he recommended are over an hour long. I should talk. My live streams are over an hour long as well. I've gone as much as 2 hours. But it does take a while to watch those. I do appreciate any minute, any second that you guys watch here on my channel. I highly, highly appreciate it. So that's at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So again, Swartz Talk Sports, 8 p.m. Eastern time. So you guys can do the calculation. Lots of you guys right now are on Eastern time. I'm on Western time. It's in Washington right now. And believe it or not, it is creeping up to 4:15. So we're going to move on into tonight's topic. Good to have you, DJ Ware, as always. I saw you just chat popped in. Also, go over and check out DJ Ware's channel, another great technical channel. Lots of information kind of outside of the live streaming box over on DJ Ware's channel. Tony does some things as well. He does some low voltage installs for people. So he talks a lot about backup systems and networking systems. So go check out those channels. And as Tony said here, I appreciate every single like. So I've been studying the algorithm on YouTube quite a bit the last 3 or 4 months. And if you notice here on my channel, in the last week and a half, I've posted a video. I posted a video about a week and a half before that. I've done 2 live streams. I posted a short on this GoPower DuroCube, which I'm using tonight to power the iPad and the iPhone, so I might as well bring it out. So I have mobile power. So I did a short on that, just 59 seconds long. And so I've also looked at some different still images. So I've been playing around with still images. So being on YouTube, it's really interesting because the only way people really hear about you, if you have something in your search or your keywords that will have Google serve your video to them. If someone's looking for Blackmagic design devices or information about an ATEM or getting started with an ATEM, chances are my ATEM getting started video will pop up. It's one of my top performing videos. But that doesn't mean this video is going to pop up to anybody. And so start the movement on YouTube, and then more views start the movement. And then as that video grows momentum, especially if it's a short, shorts have a very short lifespan as well. But I've noticed in the long play videos, like my ATEM getting started video, it blew up months after I posted it. And other video series that I've done here, like on the HyperDex, they started growing pretty quickly, and then they've slowly tailed off. I've done some live streams now that have had over 1,000 views, which is a big deal for me. And if you check out my YouTube channel, we're approaching 3,000 subscribers. So thank you very much for subscribing. Also, if you want to chat with us tonight, before we get into tonight's observation about the technology changing with smart devices and pads, computers, we're going to talk about cameras and computers a little bit tonight. We're going to look at this new remote control application for Blackmagic designs, or it's actually Blackmagic Camera Application, available for Android and iPhone. So we're going to talk about that. I'm going to demo it here in SuperSource, and we'll show you how different ways to use it, how to set it up. But the thing I wanted to say tonight about this whole this series of YouTube posts that I've done recently, I'm just learning the algorithm, because in reality, now that I'm getting closer to 3,000 subscribers, I'm starting to get contacted by more businesses. Occasionally I get an email asking me to receive a product and do a review on that, and we'll see if that is something I will do when I get above 3,000 subscribers. I've always kind of had that 3,000 subscriber goal before me, before I was going to do any of that or even consider it. Probably the closest thing I've ever done to a sponsored item here on my channel was when I've had clients on here talking about what they do or their businesses, even though they haven't sponsored me. And the DuroCube, which was a gift when I did a shoot for an RV manufacturer, and they wanted me to shoot some videos for GoPower, a Canadian solar company. So the solar company came down to join us for a shoot in Dallas, Oregon, and I was primarily focusing on the RVs, but they also wanted me to do this shoot for GoPower. I didn't charge them anything. Forest River charged them nothing. They're in a symbiote relationship because GoPower, Canadian company, supplies all the solar panels and all the things that they need at Forest River. Of course, Forest River pays for those, very discounted prices, and then Forest River mounts those on their RVs. And the technology of solar is changing so quickly, especially mobile power and batteries are changing. So they came down to train while they were there and then do some videos while we were there. So they gifted me, now it's been a couple solar panels and the DuroCube. And so a shout out to GoPower. Again, not a sponsored video tonight, but I want to say thank you. I might even have a few monitors in my studio, thanks to Joe here. And so some really cool stuff. I even have a little Batman signed little picture on my wall around the corner that was provided via the channel. So it's a symbiote relationship, and I really appreciate it. And so as I study the algorithm, you may see some of my still images change. You might see more shorts coming up because I'm really experimenting right now. So if you've subscribed and you ring the bell, you're going to be getting those alerts, because every time I upload a video, I can turn on alert subscribers. So you're going to get an alert. When I go live, you'll get an alert maybe 10, 15 minutes before I go live. But I try to go live every Tuesday at 4 o'clock, so you guys can kind of put it on your schedule. So let's transition into the topic tonight. Blackmagic Design has made some major changes over the years. They were focusing primarily on production. So most of their cameras weren't really affordable for the average end user. But if you were into production, or you're making videos, or you were doing studio work and things like that, then Blackmagic Design was making a lot of equipment for that. Now, don't get me wrong, they had some items that people were purchasing. People were getting into switching between cameras. So Blackmagic Design started making some switchers. But during 2018-19, for some reason, they felt like it was time for them to create a switcher that was more a consumer version, because Roland and some of the other manufacturers that made video switchers were very expensive. In fact, you could easily spend $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 on some basic switching. Now, they wouldn't do encoding, they wouldn't do any streaming. So Blackmagic Design thought, wow, what if we came out with a little switcher? That's where the ATEM Mini came from. 4 inputs, had a USB-C out so that you could use it as a webcam, and then you could use programs like OBS, StreamYards, all of those software-based streaming applications. You could just use it as a webcam and stream to Facebook once Facebook started doing videos live, YouTube. And so lots of different social media platforms are letting you do videos now, shorts, lives, podcasting, all of that. YouTube's gone from just video to audio to now having their own music app. And then now they have podcasting kind of in both realms. It's kind of weird. You upload it to YouTube and then it transfers over to, I think it's Google Music. I can't remember right now, and I just had to put Shannon's podcast over there. So lots changing with the technology. But one of the things that I noticed that Blackmagic really did last year that I thought was cutting edge was to open up the advantages that you have inside these smartphones, and the cameras that are in there and the video functions. In reality, there's lots of apps out there that will let you access the video. Apple has their own app. Android has their own apps. There's apps that you can download. But Blackmagic Design came out with a free app. That's right, F-R-E-E. And so the fact that you can use the Blackmagic Camera application, and it's free for Android, and it's free for iPhone, and you don't have to pay for any updates. There's no like pro level stuff. It just, when they do a firmware update, it's available for you to download the update. My iPhone gives me alerts when there's updates, and I update my apps all the time. If I'm going to use them, I'm going to keep them up to date. Sometimes they're bug fixes, sometimes they're new features. And in fact, a few weeks ago, I did, or was it last week? I did a whole live stream on the new 9.5.1 software control for the Blackmagic Design switchers, like the ATEM Mini. So ATEM Mini became the Pro, then the Pro ISO, then the SDI model, Extreme Pro ISO, and then actually the Extreme ISO, and then the Extreme SDI ISO. And so there's a whole line of desktop switchers, and I cover those quite often here on the channel. Then they came out with the HD models that were rack mounted with more outputs and more inputs, mostly SDI, in fact, predominantly SDI. They added some HDMI ins and outs to HyperX. They added the new shuttle to be able to just record into it HDMI and export out HDMI and have teleprompting. But then again, this year they came out with some 4K rack-mounted devices. They added Super Source to the 2ME versions in the HD and the 4K, and they've added some really other cool devices this year. So you can incorporate DaVinci Resolve and do instant replay. They have a new instant replay controller that retails for $495. And then they have the ability to ingest video faster in and out of your live stream using the 10G media player. So you can use Thunderbolt now. And so lots of things have changed, but cameras are getting faster. They're getting more intelligent. They have better focusing. They have better glass, better low light performance. The chips are getting better. You can start doing slow-mo. But because the average user isn't really going to make a lot of changes, they're just going to point and hit video and play it. They don't necessarily want to change frame rates. They just want to point and shoot. Most people will be just happy with the apps in their phones. But Blackmagic knew that there's people like me, probably people like many of you, that want to have more access, right? So our audience tonight, if you've answered the poll, and it doesn't tell me, it says 14 votes, so pretty good. 50% of you have downloaded the app. That's the Blackmagic Camera App for either Android or iOS, or 50% of you have not. So 50% have played with the app. Maybe you've shot something. Maybe it doesn't even matter to you, but it's on your phone because it's just like all the other apps that you use periodically. But well, the reason I wanted to take some time tonight and talk about the Blackmagic Design Camera App is because it opens up a lot of opportunities for clients that I have, maybe you have. So, you know, one of the favorite things that people like now is to do podcasts, and they want to do audio and video, and they want a camera facing their guests. They want a camera facing to them. They want a wide shot, and then they want maybe some other angles, and they may only have one or two DSLRs. And so they can't do those type of shots. Well, what if you could find a way to incorporate in your edits your iPhones and be able to control those? So you could have an iPad on your desk, you could have a switcher on your desk, and you could be switching between camera 1 and 2, or just letting them record in them. And then you could have a couple iPhones doing your close-ups, or maybe just one iPhone doing your wide shot. The ability to remotely control them, stop and start record in them, in my opinion, is huge. Now, this is not the first app that will do that. There's a Final Cut Pro app, I heard, that will do the same thing and let you remotely control more than one camera. But again, free. Phones are pretty readily available. And if they get this rolled out for Android tablets, then imagine you can add to your podcast, or you could add to your shoot, or if you maybe you just want to shoot a wedding that you're going to be a part of, you can get your wife's phone, your phone, download the Blackmagic Design app, the camera app, download it on your iPad, tether those right through the wireless network, and you have to have a wireless network to work this. So you either have to have access to the fast network at that location, or you would have to take a network with you. But now you'll be able to start and stop recording on 2 devices. So what I plan to do when I do these tent events, I plan on having my iPhone and someone else's iPhone and our iPad that we use at those events, which belongs to some friends of mine. I can now remote control stop and start 2 iPhones just from an iPad on my desk. I already use an iPad all the time with my Studio Live 32 console, so this is a pretty big deal. So let's do this first. Where is it at here? Slideshow and me, and I'll change over to this camera. So let's take a look at what these options are here. That just came out in this new version. Sorry, I keep looking at that camera. So the 2.0, we'll look at it in a minute, but these are the last 2 updates for the Blackmagic Camera app. And you can see in version, what version is that? 1.5 on June 27, 2024. Sorry, it's a little bit further away than I wanted it. Support for live sync with DaVinci Resolve through Blackmagic Cloud while still recording. So here's another feature. You could be syncing with DaVinci Resolve in the network that you're in. So if you establish a network and you had DaVinci Resolve open, you can actually use this update and you can actually log in to your cloud account. You have to set up a cloud account with Blackmagic Design. I don't have one yet. I plan on doing that because I'm going to play with some of the features that are available in these two updates. But that's one of the big deals. So you can be recording and it would be going up to the cloud. So you can live sync with DaVinci Resolve through Blackmagic Cloud while still recording in that device. So if I was sitting there with my laptop and I had DaVinci Resolve open, I had a project, I literally could be having that footage coming in from both of those cameras. I haven't tried that yet, but both of those cameras, right? Because it's going to automatically sync, and then I could edit them immediately after the event is over. Or if I was doing, for some reason, replay, I could take clips. If I had the media player 10G, Thunderbolt would allow me to play clips back from my computer back out to a switcher through that SDI outs of the media player 10G, just like a HyperDeck. So you could then replay parts of it, or you could just, during halftime, you could then be playing some highlights during halftime. So you'd have to edit them real quick, put them together, then broadcast them during halftime, and then get things set up again to go back to the second half, however you want to use it. So addressed audio monitoring issues in some third-party accessories when interrupted by notifications, general performance, and stability issues. So big 1.5 update was the ability to sync. Now, the update before that, if I remember that correctly, it added Android devices to the Blackmagic Camera application as well. So let me just make sure I'm watching the chat here. Joe, I'll let you know about that tent event here shortly. Let me finish this. And then the 2.0 update supports controlling multiple phones with Blackmagic Camera, monitor multiple phone captures remotely. So you could just monitor them, or you could control the phones. So, and we'll look at how that sets up. We'll play with it again. I'm completely a novice with this. I just did the update a few days ago and started playing with it today because my iPad, again, is an A10 chip. It won't let me download the software. So I borrowed my daughter's iPad all day today, and I'll be returning it tonight after we get off the air. And I probably will be updating my iPad now because I definitely want to use this app when I'm at the tent events. So, okay. So it supports the live sync. Now you have the monitoring. Now you have controlling, support for remote controlling Blackmagic Design camera apps. You can monitor multiple phones. Blackmagic Camera App is now available for iPad. I already said that. HD captures are now possible at 100 frames per second on the iPhone 15 Pro, and I think the Pro Max. So now you can do slow-mo. Now there are settings. I think you have to be in H.265. You have to be in HD mode, and you have to be in certain codecs in order for that to work. But you can now do 100 frames per second. So then you could slow that down to 30 frames per second and have some really good slow-mo footage using all of the settings that are available in the camera app. Okay, and I'll comment on that too, Joe. I saw your comment there, and I agree. So then new select all options when selecting multiple clips. Again, that is that ability. You used to have to go in when you wanted to delete a clip. Let's say everything's uploaded to the cloud. You don't need it on your phone anymore. Your phone was a backup, and you know you have everything that you need now on the cloud. You're doing your edit, and you want to clean up the memory on your phone. You used to have to click and select every single clip and then delete them all. Now you just have a select all button. So that was added in this version 2.0 update as well. And then general performance and stability improvements. There you go. So somewhere in here I have, let's see, Camera 3 and Skycam. Oh, come on. Let's turn on Skycam. I have chat enabled. Well, let me touch base. Let's do this real quick. Let me turn chat back on the air, and let's cover these two comments. Joe's asking when the tent is. That's coming up the last week of September. My good buddy just met with the mayor and all of not the mayor wasn't there today, but the mayor invited us to be able to go at another tent event that we did. So today, my buddy was up there meeting with all the powers that be. He owns the tent, and so he met with the city people. And so there's still a couple things we need to get approved through the council, like driving stakes, because our tent needs stakes. But this will be the nicest place, location, and facilities that we've been able to take the tent. So I'm super excited about that. And I plan on shooting some videos out there. So I'm working on figuring out having to have a faster and better hotspot for that. I agree with this. Blackmagic Design giving us this app will influence some of the cameras. A lot of people just say, why do I need a camera? Why do I need to buy that expensive glass that I covered 2 weeks ago? Well, you're going to get a milkier background, a lot more light for dark shooting or nighttime shooting or dusk shooting. There's just a lot more you can do with a higher end camera, with a higher end sensor, with larger sensors and larger glass. But most people don't know that. The average person can shoot some pretty incredible video on their phone. And because this app gives you so much control, manual control over everything, plus things like focus peaking, things like, light metering built in. So it's not just a tap and trust the phone. You can actually see what's happening with your exposure, frame guides. There's so much stuff, audio level meters. It is really high tech, all built into the phone. And you can have a clean HDMI out. So you can use the Blackmagic Camera app for your live stream. So you could tether it, or you could use some other way of getting it ingested into your live stream, like an Apple TV or Google Chrome device. So yeah, pretty cool. Craig, good to have you here. Hi, Keith. The camera app is fantastic on the iPhone 15 Pro Max. It does a great job for my needs. Well, I'm glad that you're using that, Craig. And be aware now that you can download that same app on an iPad, A12 chip or higher, and you can remote control it. So you can have your phone set up over there, and you could be sitting down and completely controlling that phone, more than one phone, from your iPad. I mean, you can change the lens, you can change all of the things that you normally can on the actual phone, you can change on the device itself. So, okay, I think Craig says, I use it with USB-C to HDMI cable for clean. Yeah, so it's a perfect tool now to be able to use in the studio. But think about this. If you have it set up, one on the right, one on the left during your podcast, you don't want to get up and be tapping on it. It's on a tripod or on a stand or on some kind of phone mount. Now you could be sitting in the background with your iPad, and now you can control it from the iPad. We're going to open this up now and dive in. So let me turn chat off the air. And let me get our camera live here. And then we'll go back to turn the keys off. Sorry about that. Come on. Better. And then we'll go to camera 3 in the Skycam. And I am going to change microphones now to my lav mic. So let me know. Audio may not be perfect, but it should be good audio. It looks just a little hot. Test, 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 test. So we'll turn that down. So here I am, and you guys now can see the iPad. You can see my audio is coming through, and you can see on the iPad, you have exactly what's on the iPhone. So I am tethered. You can see the tethering right here. I have the iPad I can be recording video on. and using this as a controller for both of them to start to stop. I can use my iPad as a controller or a camera, and I could put the controller up here, use my iPhone to control the iPad. But right now I am controlling my camera. You can see you have some sync record. So if I hit record, everything's gonna sync. I could turn that off, back on again. Got match controller and hide video feed. But for right now, we're just gonna focus on these settings. And now how do you get this set up? You go down here into settings. You go down here, now there's a remote control or camera control. And then you can turn it on remote control, and then I can, so if I'll turn this off for a minute, dismiss because I lost connections. So go down here to remote control again. So before I turn it on, I can use my iPad as a controller, or I can use it as a camera. Because I already have this one set up as well, I'll just turn that back on again, and then we'll go back to the camera settings. But in order to turn it on, you go into this new section called Remote Camera Control. So keep that in mind. That's where you're going to get to it. And then you have all these settings. You can change the name. I called it iPad. You can set up a password. So you could make it one digit. So if you just wanted camera 1 to be password 1, camera 2 to be password 2, camera 3 to be password 3, then you can actually do that and be able to set a password if you want to have a password. So you can have the camera available for control and monitoring. So we're going to shut these off right now. So let's turn this one off as well. And then let's go back in here. We'll come back in, and let's turn this on. So now I have the choice of going controller or remote camera. So if I want my iPad to be the camera and my iPhone to be the controller, you just close it, shut the app, bring it back open. Again, I want that to be the controller, so that's good. If you want to get back in here, you can just tap on camera. You can get into your media. Again, this is that quick guide, so it selects all the clips. If I click on it, and then I can upload them. And if I want to log into a cloud account, I can log in just like you can now from a switcher. You can download or sign up for the cloud and actually use your switcher now, your ATEM Mini Pro ISO, SDI model, the Extreme ISO. You can actually log into the cloud, including some of the rack-mounted devices that have been updated as well. So I'm going to cancel that. Not going to do that right now. Then you have the settings again. That's where you're going to go in and set this up. But back to camera. So now I'm going to fire up the iPhone again. Wants my face, so let me just log into this. We will close that, reopen it, and go into the settings. We're going to go down here to remote control. Going to turn it on. Going to make this is a remote camera, not a controller, so that is correct. And I can go in here and see my password. I could change the name of it if I wanted to change it. I could change the password, camera availability for control or monitoring. So I could monitor only. If I just want to use it as a monitor, I can. If I just want to use it as a camera or a monitor to control, I can. So those are the choices. So we're going to go back up here. And then how do you connect? You get this little icon if they're on the same network. So I'm going to tap on this icon on the controller. I'm going to say I want to turn on. I want to control my iPhone. So I turn that little switch on. There we go. And tap out of that. And now this is controlling my phone. So I'll show you. Let me move this just a little bit, and you can see the monitor moving with it. You can also see the latency. So it's pretty fast. You're always going to have latency, but I can tap on here to focus, I can go up here and change lenses on that camera. So let's change to a 77 mil. Let's change to the front camera. There it is. Let's go back and change to the ultra wide. I can turn it on and off the different stabilization built into my iPhone. I can change the autofocus right here, up and down. You can see it blurring. So I can actually change focus. I have the ability to change the brightness. So expose a little bit better for the outside tonight. Again, I have the stabilization. I can turn on grids, and they're coming on my phone. You can see that if I go off. Different types of grids. Tap out of that. Record. Turns on recording on my camera. So literally I am remotely controlling both devices. Gives me a red alert that I'm controlling on my iPhone. And it also lets me know the clocks are ticking, and you can compare the two clocks. They're going so fast you'd have to put the video in side by side in order to see if there's any differences in that. So again, I can't display chat right now, but I can definitely comment on, because I do have it on my prompter over here. So let me go up here and we'll scroll back here a little bit. Wow, let's do this though real quick. I see that. Let's go back to me and a logo, and I'm going to make a little change here real quick. And let's highlight this. Thank you so much. I don't know what's happening. I think I can make an adjustment and get this super chat looking correctly here. I apologize. Let's see, that's going to be in key number 4. Yeah, I don't know what is going on with the background on super chats, but you guys can see it. But yeah, I don't know what's going on. It's like the background in Aaron Parecki's plugin in super chats is just not showing up with any kind of background. So I apologize for that. Thank you so much for that super chat. I just got 2 Blackmagic HyperX Studio HD Pluses. What cords can I buy to sync time code on both of the runtimes into my MixPre 3? Well, in the backs of the new HD are the 2 time codes. They're just regular BNC cables. And so it's in the manual. I've never synced the HyperX, but that is so that they stay in sync. You can also enable recording. So if you record on one, it'll automatically record on the other one. I don't have any videos yet on my channel, Marine X, but I will say that the regular BNC cables, they do make specific for time code, but I used to use those BNC cables when I had my recording studio so that everything was synced in time. So I'm really sorry that I can't display your super chat better. It's something wrong in this plugin, so I apologize. That helps me display the chat. But and you said into your MixPre 3 too as well. So the MixPre 3, I believe, has a little teeny time code 3.5 jack. So you'll have to get a time code adapter and sync that up. Again, I am not a specialist on syncing time code for the Blackmagic design software, so I apologize for that, but I am very, very grateful for the super chat, and I appreciate you supporting the channel and being with here tonight. So again, it's you look on the back, it looks just like a regular SDI cable, but you use a BNC cable typically, normally to sync time code. And anybody else that has any specific answers to Marine X's comment, please go ahead and put that in the chat as well. I'll put this up there. So Joe's saying that the new MixPre version 2, I have the MixPre 6 version 1, but he says the new MixPre 6, there is a micro HDMI and 3.5 headphone input. Both can take in time code on the MixPre 6. So there you go. Hopefully that helps you answer. And Joe has a MixPre 6 version 2. I wish I had the MixPre 6 version 2. Good to have you, Chio. I think I said hi to you early. Remote control seems to be an iPhone and iPad only feature. Yeah, I don't know if that's going to just play out that way. I really do think they're going to figure something out with Android, just FYI. So again, let me turn Skycam off the air so you guys are not seeing that. And let me roll back over here to what we were doing. So here you go, they're recording. I'm gonna stop recording, and then I could go in here, like I said, and we could delete these recordings. Am I recording still? Nope, why can't I go into, I have no media on this device. Let's see, do I have media on this device? So evidently when they're synced, you can't get into the media player. So let me unsync here. Then I can get into media, and again, I can select all clips, and there they're all selected, and then I could just simply hit the delete garbage can if I wanted to. So, okay, so now let's go in here to settings, and let's turn this off under remote control, and then turn this off on a remote control. Okay. And then what I want to do now is I want to close this, open it back up. I'm going to close this, open it back up. Going to turn this one back on again. And let's see. Turn this as remote camera. And this, gonna turn it on. And this we're gonna make controller. And now the iPad is or the iPhone is controlling the iPad, so I can stop and start record on that. This becomes now my main camera, so I could turn this over on the DuroCube, and then I could stop and start recording there. So again, if you want to monitor or you want to record, this is a great new feature. And if there's any other questions that you guys have on this, I just wanted you to see how powerful a device this could be. If you decide to use it, again, you can do more than one camera, which is really exciting. So I think that's mega cool. And I'm looking forward to seeing how that feature plays out here in my studio. So that was really all I wanted to show you on that app. I do want to give you guys opportunity to ask any questions. I will have to clunk back and forth between chat, and we'll turn chat back on the air here. Let's see. So Joe is saying, in case you didn't know this, Marine X has an awesome channel on YouTube in which he talks about all kinds of cool stuff. Been a long time subscriber. So cool. So go over and check out Marine X's channel. Sounds like there's some really cool stuff over there. And obviously gives a shout out back to Joe for highlighting his channel. So I will have to check out Marine X after I get off tonight. Just really cool having you show up. And Joe was pretty excited when Marine X came in. Okay, so Android currently is at 1.1, so maybe in a few months we'll get a 2.0 version. Yeah, I think that 2.0 version for Android will have more to do with these new features. Hopefully you'll be able to use an Android tablet to be able to control it. And there's that comment from Joe on timecode out from HybridX 1, timecode into HybridX 2, and timecode out to MixPre 3. So there you go, Marine X. Your buddy Joe has your back. That is really cool. And if you are a Marine, thank you so much for your service. My son, Nathan, who is now down in California interviewing for some new security jobs down there. He is a Marine as well, and I'm sure he would have some words to shout out to you if he was here in the studio. And Nathan's been on the channel before. We did a little live stream together or actually a video together here on my channel. We took some really cool high-key photographs of his snowboarding gear, and then I made up a little green screen video. So that's here on the channel. So dig back under green screen and my name, Keith Bennett, and you might be able to find that video with my son, Nathan. Cool. So I do want to look at the page. So we're going to do this right now. Let me open up the software. We'll go to Blackmagic Design site here. So let's go. I'm going to do camera 3 in my laptop. We're going to use the Tony QuickTech Solutions cam and the Joe Torelli cam. Joe and Tony have been friends for a long time, been here on the channel, and both of them have contributed to my studio here, which is a long story. So you can see, as you said, going to keep using this microphone. You have lots of updates here. So the original was 1.0, then there was 1.0.1, 1.1, 1.2, 1.2.1, 1.3, 1.4, 1.4.1, 1.5, and 2.0. So they jumped right from 1.5 to 2.0, which is quite interesting. So now that is for iOS. And so here is the app information, the reviews, the version history is what I clicked on right here. You have some basic pictures for iPad or for iPhone. And then somewhere here I saw, there it is. You now have some pictures of multiple camera angles because that's the big feature they're promoting. So I wanted you guys to see this picture. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4 different cameras being controlled. I think 4 is the max. I haven't tested it, so I have no clue. Again, free is a great price. So we go back here. Here's Blackmagic's page. We'll click on Android here in a minute, but let's just go through here. So you can see you're able to control exposure. So get the Hollywood look with a phone or an iPad. That's really cool. So they've obviously updated this to add iPad to their homepage. But again, the camera app, I would go through here. I will put a link to this in the description if I haven't already. Quit looking at that camera, look at this camera. But lots of features here that they have given us for free. So you can see the main page. You can see you can have audio meters on. You can have focus peaking on. You can see the different colors in focus peaking. It's not just a white focus peaking. You can turn on grids. You can see all of the data on the top, super important. You got how much time you've been recorded. You have the exposure. You have your white balance at 50, I think it says 5600K. You have your frame rate, 120, so he's probably shooting 60 frames per second. No, he's actually shooting 30 frames per second, so that should be at 1/60th of a second in reality. 77 mil lens is chosen, and then if you tap on these, you can change them. You have battery life, 4K is what they're shooting at, so you can even see what exposure you're shooting at. Then you have all these choices inside the media pool. Then you have chat built in, so you could chat with people. That I think you get that once you open up the cloud, and then all of the settings. And so they give you great information on how the app works. You can see some grids that you can pull out here, like I already did. So you could change the temperature. You can change the different presets you can see here on the screen, which I think is really cool. And then lens, status, frame per second, shutter speed, time code, project name indicator, ISO control, white balance, intent control, obviously your resolution, you got your histogram, audio meters, and they're good quality meters. You can turn on external microphones on and off inside the settings. Again, you can do a clean feed for using it inside your live streams. Record button, audio media, storage indicator. It even shows you how much storage you have left. That's huge, especially if you have limited storage on your iPhone. You'll know if you need to get something uploaded to the cloud so that you could delete the files on your phone. That makes the cloud storage super important, and giving you way more ability to use your iPhone as a professional video camera, because you could be uploading to the cloud, and then that could be then synced into your studio later. Zebras, focus assist, again, grids, frame guides, so you don't know, so you make sure you know where the bottoms and tops of your frames are. Safe area if you want to turn it on, so that's a safe area guides. And then you have false color you can turn on. This is great. 3D LUTs, so you can use LUTs. So if you're shooting in one of the raw settings, you can use the 3D lookup. So again, you can actually shoot in different codecs on it. And we'll go back and I'll look at that here real quick with you. Touch focus, so you can tap and touch who you're focusing on. Auto exposure, image stabilization, I had that on earlier. So if your camera offers it, you can operate it right here on the camera app. Zoom control, and then you also have an metadata. So it's like a slate board, so you can add in clip information so that later on you can sync that with DaVinci Resolve. And so again, here's the different settings. You could use your earbuds with it, so that could be an external device to listen, as well as the microphone built in you could use as a microphone. You can also bring in a DJI mic in your smart device, either USB-C or Lightning. You could bring in a Rode Lav microphone, the new Lav Pro, the mics that I have, the Me 2, not the Me 2, I have the wireless Go 2. If you have a Go microphone, or you have a Me microphone, or the new Pro, and then there's two models of the DJI mics, and there's other people like that make wireless microphone systems. So record to DaVinci storage, record into DaVinci Resolve, upload selected clips, and you can then work together in collaboration. And again, if you were remotely shooting, you could be putting that footage in the cloud, syncing it back to your team back at the shop, which I think is huge. So the fact that this is as powerful as just a regular Blackmagic design camera, may not be the same quality glass, may not be the same built-in sensor, but we know that Android phones and iPhones are really getting high tech, lots of quality. I have 3 different cameras on my iPhone, and I'm getting ready to update to the new iPhone 15. And who knows, I might keep my old iPhone. We'll see. So live sync and edit media on DaVinci Resolve while the camera is recording. You can see it right here on their page, and those are a promise that they have delivered. Using it for you will be another journey, but again, you can learn anything. And DaVinci Resolve has a free version as well and a paid version, and you can use it with the paid version. And then here is the little deck that you can use for editing in DaVinci Resolve. They have a replay deck now as well. And again, they have new devices. So you can put it in a rig and use it with lots of attachments like lights and all of that stuff. And again, there it is. So now let's go back up. Let me scroll to the bottom of the page, see if anything else here exciting. I think we covered it. So DaVinci Resolve 19, free download, Blackmagic Camera for iOS, Blackmagic Camera for Android. So let's go back up to the top. Where was that at? And let's click on Android version. And let's look at this stats, a little bit different logo. The logo I have on the screen has the white border, so this is a tad bit different. But let's see about this app. So version 1.1.0072. So it looks like they've made some updates. So you can read about it for Android. Again, nothing on the Android one, 3.9, 1/10 of a star, I think, or actually almost 1 point less than the iPhone version of that. But nothing up here yet for iPad. But again, you can try this app on your Android device. Nothing wrong with the Android phones. Some of them actually have, let's go back to me and a logo. Some of them actually have some really good cameras, really good sensors, and some of them are better than, most people will say some of them are better than the iPhone 15 Pro Max. So earlier I said I wanted to comment on this. These phones, in my opinion, and I used to say this all the time as a quote to clients, that you'd have to spend, like 15 years ago when I was wanting to get into video production, that was when I started playing around with it. And I bought a Panasonic HMC 150, which shot 720p to 2 discs, so you had a backup disc. They were CFast cards, if I remember right. They didn't, maybe SD cards, I'm not sure. But I can tell you this, 720p is a far cry from high def, HD, 1080p, and now 4K. And I imagine that phones are going to start shooting at a lot higher resolutions here very soon. Blackmagic Design just came out with their new camera. Recently, let's go back to Blackmagic's page here. Go to their product page. Trying to control my mouse today. So here you have the new Blackmagic Ursa Cine Camera 12K, $14,995. Some of you, that's no big deal, but for me, that would be huge. So again, their cameras are getting crazy. The technology is getting crazy. The things that are available for us today, even in smartphones, is really cool. And so now with cloud storage, obviously, that means you don't maybe not have to buy that 256K iPhone or 256 gig iPhone. Maybe you could buy the smallest version that they sell, save some money, and then invest in some cloud storage so that you could just be uploading to the cloud so it's there ready for you when you get back to start opening DaVinci Resolve when you get back. I absolutely cannot stand trying to get footage off of my iPhone. That's why I am going to be using Blackmagic Design's cloud. I do upload video footage from my iPhone to my Google Drive, but it would be nice just for things to sync automatically. Again, that's just one of the things you can look at. So a smartphone, the technology is incredible. You still have to have good lighting for video. You still have to have good audio, but even the audio microphones on the cameras are improving exponentially. I said I wanted to talk about laptops and iPads. I mean, iPad, this is my daughter's iPad, and let's fold this up. It has 2 cameras on the back. Hopefully you can see it. So they are advancing even dual cameras on an iPad. So you have 2 choices on this. Again, this has the A12 chip on it. Now you can buy iPads that have M1 and M2, I believe. But great tools. You could shoot video with this as well. I'm hoping that they continue to update the cameras. That's why I don't really invest a lot of money in iPads, because they're not the best. This video here is still way better than my Panasonic HMC 150. I think it cost me $3,000 for that camera. It was a video camera, not a DSLR or a mirrorless camera. It was a real video camera. You can look that up, Panasonic HMC 150. But it only shot 720p, and this will shoot 4K, and it has 2 lenses. But again, you have to add light, you have to add good audio. And remember, the audio in the iPad and in the iPhones, though it's getting better and better, it has to be in proximity. The further it is away from your voice, the more room noise you're gonna get, more reverberation. And so getting a microphone on you is super important. And that will really help you out in getting a good quality video. So good light, good exposure, good audio, and good video quality is everything that you need to have a good video production. So I know people that actually do their podcast audio on their iPad or on their iPhone. So they just sit in a closet and they record right on their iPhone. And so then they upload it to one of the many different apps that you can put on your phone for doing audio podcast, and then that sends it out to all of their different accounts. You obviously have to go in and set up your original accounts, but once those accounts are set up, then they have apps that you can just record your audio of your podcast and then upload it. Maybe design a still image, which we're going to talk about here in the weeks to come, creating still images for your videos on YouTube and your podcast. So we are going to talk about that. It's on my list of things to cover on a Tuesday night. But there you have it, man. That new app update, version 2.0 for the iPad, to me is a game changer. And so again, no cost for the app. If you have an iPad and you have an iPhone, or you have 2 iPhones, again, if you have an iPad and your wife has an iPad and she has an iPhone and you have an iPhone, you have 4 cameras. This is amazing. So you could do a 4-camera video podcast using those devices. You just have to buy stands, get a decent microphone. You could just get a microphone like I have here. I'll pull this out. Not a bad microphone. This is the wireless go-to, and if I was to click the button on the bottom again, I'll actually see it. If I click in my Rodecaster Pro and I click it again, it's now recording in the device, and because I have it connected to my Rodecaster Pro 2, it tells me it's recording. If I click the button again, it stops recording, and if you get the new Pro version, it'll do 32-bit float recording. It's really hard to mess up a 32-bit float recording. It comes with a windscreen if you're going to record outside. I like to tuck this up underneath my shirt, and so the magnet doesn't show in my consulting and my live streaming. That's why I wear a lot of these button-down shirts. So see, I can put it right there, and it's semi-hidden. You can see the magnet just a little bit, but it's hidden right there. There we go. And so pretty good. And so I have that microphone. I can switch to it right now. So you're hearing me on the wireless go. And again, I've tuned it a little bit, but it doesn't sound near as good as my SM7B, which is more of a traditional podcast mic. Most of the podcasts I watch, you'll see one of these for the main host and one of these for the guest. And if they have more than one guest, you'll see these on boom arms or you'll see them on stands, and pretty cool. So, okay, let's go back to chat on the air here and see any other questions that you have on the app. We'll talk about those. Craig says, I can tell you that the 15 Pro Max video looks really good. Hard to believe it's coming from a phone sometimes. Yeah, so if you know how to use the manual settings, if you start studying, and I do want to do a couple of videos this next year. They're going to be probably not main Tuesday videos. May do another live stream during the week, a half hour covering some of the things that people really need to know if they want to get better video footage, better photographs. I am a photographer. I have studied it for the last 10, 11 years. Lots of classes on photography, done a lot of landscaping photography, portrait photography, photos for lifestyle photography. I've done photos for companies professionally and privately and personally. My favorite type of photographs are maybe lifestyle, but landscape would be my favorite. I love capturing incredible vistas. But in reality, there's a lot of things to consider in video. Talked about it on the night I covered lenses, so go back and watch that video. I demonstrated what changing the aperture will do on these full frame cameras like my EOS R and my Canon 5D Mark IV. So we changed up some lenses. I showed off my 50 millimeter L glass. So it's just a prime lens, which means it doesn't zoom in and out. And it's a very nice 1.2 aperture, so it gets you that milky background. But even it doesn't compete with my 85 mil that has 1.2 as well. So again, if you want that high quality cinematic look, you can do a lot of that. The newer iPhones have the cinematic view that actually blurs the background. So if you learn to use that correctly, get your exposures right, you're gonna have some video that will be hard for people to even know the difference. In fact, this last year, Aperture, if you go to Aperture's site, they've been a part of some projects where everything was shot on iPhones. So pretty incredible. They use some high-end gear, high-end stabilizers, slides, all that sliders, all that stuff. But the video looks amazing. So I totally agree that you can capture some pretty incredible video, Craig. So I appreciate that. So MarineX has an awesome garage studio. Have always been impressed with how unique it is. Yeah, and MarineX, I've been planning on building a garage studio. I don't know when it's going to happen. Shannon and I did make a decision. This is an update for those of you that have been wondering about Studio B. Our primary goal right now is to pay off this house. And then after that, Lord willing, Shannon willing, my pocketbook willing, I am going to build Studio B. It looks like we're going to stay put in this house for a season, and so we want to get it paid off. So right now I'm working the next 2 years to get that paid off. I am now semi-retired. I do have some side projects. I can make so much money on my Social Security before they start dinging me. I won't be full retirement years age for a little less than 2 years now, but I can now collect my Social Security, and I am, and that is all going towards retiring debt. And we will then, and if the channel blows up, then I will, you know, if the channel gets me a lot more income over the next 5 or 6 years, that will be why I will be building Studio B. I have a plan. I'm going to hire an architect sometime in the next 2 years, pay him to do all the designs, check in with the city to see what loopholes there will be or hurdles I have to go over to be able to build that. And then I will have a garage studio as well. 17 feet deep. This is 13 feet deep and wider than this. I think that was 14 feet wide, if I remember right, or 11 and a half. I can't quite remember. This right here is 11.5. So we'll be deeper. I will be able to do more things, and I'll be able to have a little nicer podcasting studio in there in the back, and it'll be a lot of fun. Good to have you here, GBP Pro. Hi. Just downloaded on Pixel 6. I have a 4K 60 video cam with full manual control, focus follow on zoom like a broadcast camera. I like it. Yeah, Pixel 6 is a great camera. An example of high-tech smartphones. And so that's a pretty cool setup. Craig F., good to have you. To connect a USB-C SSE to 15 makes it simple to get video where you need it in your workflow. So when you say SSD to 15, what do you mean by 15? Can you clarify that? I may just not be tracking with you. GP Pro, is there a way to lock the app to Bluetooth for focus pulling? I believe it's using Bluetooth to connect to these different phones. No, it's using wireless to connect to different phones. And I'm pretty sure you can use the focus pullers Bluetooth with those. I know when I have my iPhone using DJI's Mimo app on my gimbal, I have a little focus pull on that DJI Mobile 6, I believe is the one I have. And I can do focus pulling on it. So I know it's built into the DJI mobile gimbals. So I think with Blackmagic Design, you can use those as well, but I don't know for sure. But that's a great question. I'll have to dive in and take a look. So thanks for asking it. That's this question right here. Another Blackmagic Design Camera App benefit: it does not try to pull in personal information from your iPhone. Yeah, like other camera apps. Take a look at the privacy info in the app. Yeah, that was something that Grant said, I think, in his announcement, that they just want to, what they want to do is they want to connect with more users. They want to be not just all the people they've added to their culture and influence that they got through the devices like the ATEM Mini, ATEM Mini Pro, ATEM Mini Pro ISO, and all those devices. Obviously, the cameras that they came out with that make it more feasible to have that high-end cinematic look that you can get. Obviously, you have to learn color grading if you're going to be working with a Blackmagic Design camera because it shoots in RAW. Or you can just have a LUT that you buy and use it on all your footage. But in reality, now that they have the camera app for free, imagine the influence. More people Googling it. I'm getting more views on my videos. I believe part of that is because of what Blackmagic's done. And I have a big shout out to Grant as well. Big respect to him. Now, I give a shout out to Aaron Parecki. He's live every Sunday. Now I believe it's at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock in the morning on Sunday. He did a remote shoot from a boat 2 weeks ago, I think. 3 or 4 weeks ago, he showed off the ingesting feature from the new 9.5 update of the control software for the switchers, the ATEM Mini Pro, Pro ISO, Pro SDI, ISO, and then obviously the Extreme ISO and the SDI Extreme ISO. And so Aaron actually showed that. There's other videos here on YouTube that show off the replay features, the ingesting features, so you can be recording, uploading to the cloud, syncing it in your DaVinci Resolve and editing it. And then with a 10G media player, that device is right here. Let's look at it. I think it's right here. No, right here. So this device right here is Thunderbolt, and it's designed to be able to plug in to the Thunderbolt port in your Mac, your PC, laptop, whatever it is. You have to have Thunderbolt, and it's 4, I think, specific, but I think it's 3 compatible as well. But you can use it like you can the DeckLink Duo cards. So now it's like having 2 in there, or like 2 SDIs, and they're dedicated key and fill. So you can do broadcast quality graphics, high-end broadcast quality graphics, because it has 12G SDI output, so it can do the kind of broadcast graphics that you would need for really high-end, and you can incorporate it to do replay. And if you scroll down here, you can kind of see the replay setup. Let's see, that's got the console. It's got a 10 gig Ethernet port. I'm looking for their photograph. I guess they don't have it. They also have the Ultra Studio 4K Mini, but the 10G is designed really to do that ingesting and replay and the high-end 12G graphics. But somewhere they have a graphic of them using HyperX and to ingest the video, as well as it's syncing to the cloud storage into DaVinci Resolve, and then they can bring it back out through the 10G media player. And so here's the back of that device. Where did I see that? Right there. So you can see you have 12G SDI fill, 12G SDI key, 12G SDI input, and then loop out. So you could be bringing video in and back out again through Thunderbolt. So think about that. So you could be coming from a camera or from a switcher and ingesting video right directly into Thunderbolt to your device, and then back out again using key and fill. And then you have the monitor out, you have monitor out HDMI and SDI, and you have desktop out, and that's for stats. You can see stats and stuff. So again, lots of cool stuff. I did a video when that was released on the channel here. It's one of my fastest growing videos because people are really interested in what the Media Player 10G was all about. So we covered it for a night, but it's been an hour and a half. I really appreciate you guys joining me. I don't see any new chats here or any other questions. I think I've covered just about everything that I see here. I didn't see any other chats from Hank, so I hope Hank made it back. He was there for the countdown. I'll put that chat up there just to give Hank a shout out. We are getting pretty close to our next Zoom town hall. I will keep you guys posted, but if you'd like to join and have a conversation it won't be live on YouTube. It's just a Zoom gathering. I invite everybody to a Zoom call. We get a chance to chat. You get a chance to share your studio. If you've never showed us your studio, it's great to get a tour of other people's studios. So now you can use Zoom on your phone and on your laptop or your PC, so you can have a mobile phone to show off your studio on Zoom on your smartphone, and then you could have your regular camera in your studio on, so you could give us a walk around in your studio. That would be really cool. And Hank is here. No, my recording has been stopping, so something wrong with this disc. So good thing that YouTube is doing their thing, and these videos are up there to stay, because I've been having some recording issues. I think it's this disc. I've had it for a long time. It's like 3 years old. I'll pop it off here, being it's not recording. So it's this scan disc, and we did talk about some of these are giving people problems. I've never had any trouble with these, but lately I've been having issues recording. It might be just my ATEM Extreme ISO #1 is dying. I don't know. So two of the discs stopped recording in the middle of a live stream. So we'll have to figure out what the issue is. It says it has space. So who knows? I'll hit record again, and it's just giving me an error message. So it might just be full. So who knows? Something's going on with the recording, but thank you for noticing that, Tony. Okay, well, unless you guys have anything else, I am going to wrap it up tonight, but I appreciate you guys joining me. Please hit the like button. I wanted to pop this up here. I haven't been using this. Let me see if I can cue it here. Yeah. Let me roll that. And I need to create That's not working. It's not pre-multiplied then. What is the deal here? Well, that didn't work. I don't know what happened. I was going to put my subscribe logo on. If you're watching and you haven't subscribed, please hit the subscribe button, ring the bell if you want to be notified when the next video gets out. I am going to be popping up some videos here in the next number of weeks. I'm starting my record a week from this Tuesday, or this Tuesday, a week. We're going to do a live stream. I'm going to ask you guys for specific chapters that you would like to see in my ATEM Extreme ISO getting started. So if you guys would like to chime in on what chapters you think I should have, do you think I should have a chapter on the outside of the device, a chapter on the back of the device, a chapter on getting ready to live stream, and getting a chapter marker on the software? Give it some thought. I'm going to take that advice next Tuesday, and I'm going to build that in my video. I am going to start recording bits and pieces of that because I can piece it all together later. That will be my Extreme, ATEM Mini Extreme getting started. Actually, it's not called the, yeah, it is. ATEM Mini Extreme ISO getting started video here on the channel. And I'm going to compare it to the ATEM Mini Pro that I have, so people can see the size difference. I'll do a side-by-side on the desk, and then we're going to hook it up and begin to train on how to get it up and running and get it started, and what settings you need to change, you know, how to use a hyperdeck in it, how to key a hyperdeck, all of those things. Even though I failed tonight keying my hyperdeck because there's something going on with my Luma key. Oh, I know what's going on here. I chose the wrong, let's try that again. There we go. I chose the wrong key setting. I had Media Player 1 as the key, and it needs to be my hyperdeck key. So that is a hyperdeck playing, and that's why I wanted to put it on here, because we're going to talk about how to use a hyperdeck for animated graphics like that, using your keys, and that'll be a part of that training as well. So a little bit more in depth than my ATEM Mini Pro getting started video that's here on my channel. Also a little bit more in depth than some of the videos on my HyperDeck Mini series and my HyperDeck HD Plus series, which are also available here on the channel. And then also I did a short on the DuroCube by Go Power this week. So please take a look at that short here on my channel, and hope you enjoy that. I did an in-depth video on the 9.5.1, actually 9.5 and 9.5.1 here on my uploaded videos. That's the last uploaded video outside of my short. So check those out. Again, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I appreciate you guys being here with me, and I hope to see you guys very soon in a video in the future. And that is time to roll the outro, and that was a fail, but this is not. So good night. Thanks for joining me.